Right now, two Democrats vying to become the Senate nominee in Texas are making their case to voters on the first day of early voting. And their final pictures are pretty clear. Jasmine Crockett says, "We need a warrior," while James Tallarico argues, "We need a nominee who knows how to win tough races." Let's bring in Julian Castro, who served as HUD secretary and was a 2020 Democratic presidential candidate. He is now an MS Now political analyst. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here with us. You know Texas politics just as well as anyone. What is your sense of this race?
Oh, Laura, this is it's fair to say, I think that this is the most competitive, most animated and spirited Democratic primary that we've seen for a statewide office in at least 25 years. Because you have two great candidates, both of them able to articulate a vision for the future, both of them able to raise money, both of them very energetic and really rising stars in their own right. So, Texans, the Democrats in Texas for the first time in quite a while at this level have a choice to make about which candidate do they think is better able to win in November and would better represent the people of Texas if they win.
Well, who do you think is the candidate that can win this race? Is it Jasmine Crockett, who says that Democrats just need to be fighting as hard as possible? Or is it James Tallarico, who says that Democrats need to be a little bit strategic and vote for someone that they think can win in the general election? Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, these are dueling theories, right? Jasmine Crockett's that you need to amp up the base, get people off the sidelines that don't normally vote in a midterm election. James Tallarico, that look, Texas is still basically has voted as a red state, and you need to be able to convince enough independents and Republicans to go your way at a time when, that might have more sway. People might be listening because they're dissatisfied with Trump and the Republicans. I think the truth is that you need both of those things. You need somebody that can convince people with a compelling vision that speaks to their needs to get off the sidelines. And you also need to be able to convince people that are open to listening to a Democrat this time that you're the kind of Democrat that they can vote for. And, both of them are making their pitches. It's hard because they both are fantastic candidates. And I think the sentiment that I hear from a lot of Democrats these days is, wow, I wish that these two candidates were not going up against each other, because it would have been great if they had both been part of a slate running in different races. But I think it's a precursor of what we're going to see as the Democratic nomination in statewide races becomes more meaningful in the years to come when Democrats can win in Texas.
I noticed you didn't answer the question when I asked which person would you place your bet on?
I'll say who I think has the edge right now. The polling has been mixed. You have seen some polls for Crockett and some for Tallarico. I think that right now Tallarico has the momentum in Texas. And if I had to guess who's going to win, I would say probably that he's going to win this race. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way, because the polls have been all over the place. I just saw a poll today that had Jasmine Crockett ahead. There was a poll last week that had her ahead. There have been several that also have him ahead. But if I had to say, being here in Texas, who I think the momentum is with right now, I'd say it's probably with Tallarico.
And I know that Tallarico would really like to face Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who also is a candidate in the Republican primary for this Senate seat. He has launched what he calls an illegal voting tip line to stop unlawful voting activity ahead of the primary. What are you hearing about this? Are Texans nervous that Paxton could use that to try to suppress the vote?
Well, I mean, I think Texans have seen this kind of thing before. Republicans have tried to do what they can to chill voting, especially in heavily black and brown precincts. This seems like one more attempt to do that. People are worried. I mean, they're worried about the potential for the Trump administration as well, messing around with voting, whether it's in the primaries or more likely in November. We've heard, of course, the idea of ICE agents being deployed to polling places, especially in heavily Latino areas. And these days, nothing seems beyond possible in terms of how far the administration will go to suppress that vote. I also think that, the attorney general is in a very contested race of his own with Senator John Cornyn to try and win that Senate primary. And so he's trying to pull all the stunts out that he can pull to win that primary.
Secretary Julian Castro, thank you for breaking down the politics of your home state with us.